Interesting but strange question. Are black people, or can black people be middle class in this country, right? In England, is there such thing as a black middle class? Now, it might seem, obvious that there is, right? You think about famous footballers, you think about famous rappers, the usual suspects. You think about famous black politicians. You think about Kwarteng, the incompetent Kwasi. You think about him. You think about what's her name? What's her face? Leader of the Tory party, Kemi Badenoch. You think about her. Surely you're seeing, a group of people who are not subject to the vagaries of poverty, even if they emerged from that place, right? But certainly they're multimillionaires, well connected, all of that good stuff as far as that stuff is good, right? So does that mean that these people are middle class, or are they just black people with money? Now, that's going to upset some people. I get it. That's going to upset some people. I think a great many of us aspire to the trappings of the middle class and the institutions of the middle class. But just because you got money don't mean that you are middle class. You're just a black guy with money, right? You think about a drug dealer, right? A drug dealer standing on the corner, selling cane, selling Ket, yeah, selling a bit of Whiz, a bit of V, yeah, right? Is that person really middle class? You got cash, yeah? And here's the funny thing, right? He got more money than the middle class, right? A lot of middle class people, they got no money. They're broke, yeah? But that doesn't mean they're not wealthy. That's different, right? That's completely different. So the short answer to the question, listen, before I answer the question, I want to introduce you to Betteridge's law. If you ever see a headline ending in a question, according to Ian Betteridge, the answer is always no. So to answer my own rhetorical question, is there such thing as a black middle class? The answer is no. No, there's no such thing as a black middle class. Just a group of black people with money, black folk with money. What makes you a class? What makes you a class are the institutions of a class. Classes move together. They move together and they form their own institutions. The working class formed unions. They formed unions, right? The middle class, well, they got the Daily Mail, right? They got the Daily Mail. They got the Telegraph. They have institutional power because these organs are terribly influential in British life. So a class has institutions. They also have other kinds of group behaviors. One example of that might be they live in the same area. They gather together. When the BBC relocated from London to Manchester, to Media City, Manchester, we all relocated from rich, middle class. Okay, middle class isn't rich, but Guardian types, yeah? Wherever they live in London, that is Notting Hill, driving out all the black folks, Brixton, driving out all the black folks, whatever. I don't know London. I don't care about London, right? But when they were forced against their will to move up north, they held their nose. They held their little nose. And they moved to places like Charlton, sending the property prices sky high. But my point is, they move together. They live together, yeah? They have their own organs and institutions. But what do you think about black people with money? What institutions have they built? What institutions have they built? What societies do they build together? What areas do they convene upon and decide to live together? Where do they collect their communal resources? Where do they do that? Again, the answer is obviously following Betteridge's law. They don't do any of these things. Yeah. They what do? They also move to Charlton. They also move to Disbury. What I'm saying is, Kamikaze Kwasi is a rich black man with money. Not a middle-class black person. He's not. He's not. The same is true with Kemi Badenoch. I'll get to her in another video. I will. But it's still interesting to think about. Interesting to think what that means for the future of black wealth and all of that other good stuff.